All right, then we can start the evening. With us tonight are at least two people from Piratim, which is a pirate party in Israel. I'll just ask them to introduce themselves. Keith, please.
Okay, my name is Keith Goldstein. I immigrated to Israel 8 years ago. I've been a member of the Piratim, Israel Pirate Party, since the founding. And I'm currently at this moment located in Sendai, Japan, doing research on the after effects of the tsunami here.
Thank you. And with us tonight as well from Piratim is Ohad.
Hi everyone, I'm Ohad Shem. I'm also a member in the Piratim since its establishment. I'm the chair of the party, and I'm doing research on the Pirate Party in Binghamton, New York.
All right, so that's the first joke of this evening. We have two Piratim, but actually none of them are in Israel at the moment. We have one in New York and one in Tokyo, so this is a very international setting. And we have a few questions for them. Ohad, you mentioned being in Piratim since the start. When was that?
Well, the unofficial start, like we started to collect signatures and the process of registering the party in I think in June, and we submitted the request in July, and I think that we received the official status of political party in September. 2012.
All right, so the party as itself, just exists since has been existing for 1 year.
Yes, and officially less than that. Yeah.
So I get it that there is an unofficial story. How long was that beforehand?
Well, I'm not sure exactly right now, but when at some point we decided to go for it, and then we had a conference call with Gregory and Lola. Is Gregory here, by the way?
Not at the moment, no.
No.
All right. Yeah. So then we started to initiate this move, really, and to do it. I think that it was maybe June.
All right, and what prompted you to start a pirate party?
Actually, we were activists already for 10 years, or even more than that. And we had a political party with very similar agenda, actually identical agenda. And we also followed the activity of pirates in the world, and we were very impressed. And also because it would
Channel
be
decoy
smarter to...
and good links with French Arab friends too, if useful. /end of introduction.
And also because it would be better for us to be part of a world movement and not to be like standalone party. And also because our former party was actually collapsed into itself for bureaucratical problems. We decided to officially register the Pirate Party.
Thanks.
If I can follow up on Ohad's comments, the Pirate Party in Israel is representing a very diverse and cohesive group of primarily younger activists who were very politically involved for a long time and on these same issues, often a liberal agenda, but not necessarily. But in these things focused on gay rights, modifying drug policies, engaging in relations with the Arab populations, trying to make different levels of coexistence. But again, we were a young party of young primarily liberals who were very active, engaged, and wanted to change the political process.
Right, thanks. Concerning the start, did what happened in the Arab world in 2011, did it play a role?
So I'll just follow this up. The Arab Spring, and following that, really the social justice protests that went on in Israel were, yes, definitely very politically motivating for a lot of people. There's a lot of talk on how much the Arab social justice protests were related with the Arab Spring. In general, we saw a great livening of political resentment going on among the population, people saying it's time to take the power back.
Okay, so you would say like the mostly the youth, I guess, in Israel got also motivated through what happened in the Arab world at that time?
I think it was more than just the youth. The support for the movements, for the Pirate Party, and for many of the general liberal agendas are actually a manifestation of one of the older generations, one of the oldest generations. And what we're seeing now is that there's been a fallout into younger generations that they kind of lost control. The original ideology that was very vibrant in Israel at one point was defeated at a certain point, and the younger generation is trying to revolve to get back on a more representative format.
Right. Talking about who you mentioned, like age as a possible point of separating who votes for you, and can you? Well, I don't know. Do you really have like a picture of who does vote for you? Like, where do you get the most votes? What kind of people do vote for you?
Okay, we are collecting the data on that, actually. The thing is that the results of the elections don't say much, because the ballots are counted on a regional basis, so we can more or less know where people voted for us, but it doesn't mean what kind of people. Like, we can't now say anything about the socio-economical profile of people that voted for us. And actually, the way how it goes in Israel is that on the ballot there is a letter of the party, and because many parties had the letter P, like in Hebrew, the results are very confusing, and one of the parties that got 19 members to the Knesset complained that many of the people that voted for us actually wanted to vote for them, and that's how they took third of our votes, actually. Like, after the election, third of our votes were given to them, and we believe that there were indeed many mistakes like that, and votes that we received in small areas like Arab villages were maybe a result of confusion, and we lost a lot of votes in places like Tel Aviv and other urban areas because of the same confusion.
Ohad, just something, you have some program or whatever device running in the background that speaks, and we hear it as well. I don't know if you could maybe...
hat Sprache zu Text noch aktiviert.
This is Mumble. This is the program.
Okay. You look at third menu, configuration, text to speech. Turn that off.
All right, that's why I didn't speak earlier, because while I was speaking, it started to speak, so I stopped until it stopped.
Okay, just to make sure I understood you correctly, there was an election, and afterwards you got votes like taken from you because somebody put the argument that the people actually wanted to vote for somebody else?
Right, exactly. More than a third of our votes were taken away from us by one of the largest parties, and in that time, like after the elections, we just had no energy to go into legal conflict with that party, and we believe that indeed there were mistakes, but we lost more votes than received by far.
Okay, and would that have made a difference? Like, would it have you gotten somebody elected if you had kept the vote?
No, unlikely.
Okay, thanks. I'll turn to Krista for the next questions. Krista?
Hi, Baruch Habayim, also to you. Actually, we are also the people who initiated this talk. Ronnie cannot speak.
Krista,
also in
Krista,
trying to catch where is just help me.
Krista, man versteht dich sehr schlecht. Probier mal Push-to-Talk statt Sprachaktivierung,
Ja.
weil das war gar nicht zu verstehen. Probier mal bitte Push-to-Talk, weil das war nicht zu verstehen. Weißt du, wie es geht?
Nee.
Okay. Very short break for configuration. Christa, drittes Menü, Konfiguration, direkt drunter Einstellungen. Das erste Audioeingabe, bei Übertragung, bei der Sprachaktivierung, Push-to-Talk aussuchen. Wenn du das gemacht hast, linken Seite bitte Tastenkürzel auswählen und bei Push-to-Talk unter der Spalte Tastenkürzel irgendeine Taste nehmen, die du definitiv nicht verwendest, zum Beispiel F12, die drücken, anwenden und dann kannst du sprechen, wenn du auf diese Taste drückst und sonst nicht. Und wir hoffen, dass wir dich dann verstehen.
Versteht ihr mich jetzt?
Es geht, aber es ist echt noch abgehakt. Probier's nochmal. Ah, unschön.
You understand me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, try again your question.
This is what you can do, so.
Try again your question.
Okay, talk now about the beginning of the party and the party movements. What also we were interested in Berlin, Ronnie and me, because we read through the Piratim, your website declaration is that you got inspired a lot from the German pirates. Basically, it says you took it from it. So we were interested to hear about that, how this connection came.
Can you repeat, please? I lost connection.
She's asking about our connection with the German pirates, how we got in touch with them, how we followed their model, and how the whole process of our collaboration and with the German Pirate Party began.
Thank you.
Well, I actually met the first German pirate before he was a pirate. When he visited me with a friend in Jerusalem, and he was interested to hear about our party. His name is Alex, I think, and I heard that he was later elected to the Berlin Senate, and then, later, I visited a little place next to Heidelberg, and I followed how the Germans there like collecting signatures to run for the local parliament, and from there we just continued by contacts with Marina and with Gregory and other people.
Gero?
What did you say?
You mean Gero? From Berlin?
I think he met Alex.
Yes.
Alex Spies.
Yeah, I don't remember his last name.
Rather strong guy, like in size.
Yeah, in that time he had long blonde hair. But it was in 2005.
Anyway, to follow up on how Ohad began, jumping forward to this summer, we started our collaboration in building liquid feedback with the German Pirate Party, and Gilles came to visit, and he stayed with us in our headquarters with me and Ohad. And we worked together to work out all the quirks technologically and the campaign base, and mimicking a lot of the things that the German Pirate Party did to be so successful.
All right. And what did you all take with you? Like, do you actually have liquid feedback now?
Yes, we do.
We have liquid feedback. We worked with it excessively before the elections, like in our campaign. It was our main focus. The thing is that we completed it 2 weeks before the elections only. And after the elections, we tried to use it in order to phrase a new status, but we didn't really use it much since the elections. But that's the truth.
And what else did you pick up? Like, I don't know, pads, mumble, whatever.
Yeah, we do use the pads. Also, we use it within the liquid feedback. It's like an automatic thing for discussion, but we use it in other ways. And we also have our own platform that it's about reporting issues locally. And when enough votes are being gathered, it goes automatically to the liquid feedback. But in the last 2 or 3 months, we didn't really implement it, but we have it. It's working.
All right. I'm gonna have to take up from Krista because she's having technical difficulties with talking. So, talking about what you can do technically, do you have anything coming up that's gonna need this? Like, are there any elections coming up?
In the 22nd of September, which is in 2 months, there are second order elections, like municipal, local elections in all of Israel for 250 cities. And now we are debating whether to take part and how and where.
Did you just say 22nd of September?
Yes, exactly.
That's funny because this is where we will have a big date here. This is the day where we do or do not get into the national parliament. This is the election day.
Really, I think that also when we had elections here, or one day before the elections, there were elections in Westphalia. But I didn't know that anybody was elected there now. So I'm surprised to hear that you got people there.
Yeah, definitely. So you haven't decided yet whether or not you're gonna run. On what does it depend, this decision?
It costs a lot of money. Like, we can participate freely without spending money in the national elections. But if we want to participate in local elections, it's an investment that, well, we as a party, we just cannot afford it. So we try to see if there are individuals that want to run, and then we could If they are pirates in their soul, we could provide them the frame of a political party so they could legally run, but they would have to invest the money and run by themselves in different places because we just have no resources to afford it.
Why does it cost more to run locally than to run nationally?
Well, that's the law in Israel.
You have to pay to be a candidate?
Not for the national elections. For the parliament it's free, and if you are already elected in a municipal government, so it's free. But if you are running for the first time, so it depends how big is the city, and yeah, it costs money. It costs actually a lot of money because not only that you have to pay for participate. If you get elected, you get the money back though. But anyway, you have to pay for even printing the ballots and for everything. So the minimum investment for running to a city like Tel Aviv or Jerusalem would be about 20,000 euros.
Right. How good is your seating in the big cities? Would you have any chance to get at least a seat or two in the city council?
I'll take it. We have a lot of base in Jerusalem, especially. So there is a conceivability, definitely, at least if not in these elections, in the next ones, that in Jerusalem we would have a contingency, and that would be very meaningful. Jerusalem as the capital has a very meaningful city local election. Besides that, it just depends on targeting, looking strategically at people who are willing to invest to be elected to a specific government because they want to change things and are willing to adopt the pirate platform.
Okay. So talking about that, how much of an impact do you make in the media? I mean, do they pick you up? Do they pick up what you say, talk about you?
Ohad, how many times were you on the TV during the past election?
Well, during the elections, like in the 2-3 months before the elections, we got significant media coverage. Like we were actually every day on the old media, but since then we were not that active. But we have a lot of members that are in the media. So if we want to have media coverage, we can just get it really fast. But we didn't do anything in the last 2 years.
Ohad's being very humble. Ohad, you must have some very good videos of you chasing after Lieberman and different politicians being filmed by the TV and the interviews.
Yeah, we definitely did get a lot of coverage during the elections time. Yeah, and if we need to get coverage, we will get it whenever we need it. But right now, there is like nothing. Actually, there is no political process, and the media doesn't cover at all the local elections that will be in 2 months. So.
Cool. So you have a good connection to the media world. That's definitely a good point. How about the new medias? Like, how well goes your campaigning online?
Well, we don't really like Facebook and social networks like that. So there are some people that are willing to do that. So we do update our Facebook page on daily basis, like a few times I think a day, but not more than that. I think that our Twitter is connected to our Facebook, so everything that is there is also there, but that's where it goes.
Do you in what context do you get mentions? You mentioned you had like ecos, you had media coverage during the election. What did they want to talk to you about?
Well, because we were focusing mostly on the liquid feedback, and we call it dynamic democracy. That's what we were talking in the media. That's what we got the coverage for this new kind of democracy. It was very interesting to talk about in the intellectual level, but when it came to voting preferences, like people are not yet ready to vote for something like that it's offering maybe upgrading of the political system. They are more focused on security issues and financial issues. So whenever we were asked about those things, we always referred it to the liquid feedback, and we explained how everybody can decide together. But that was the main issue that we talked about, and the coverage that we got was about liquid feedback. That's almost all we talked about.
Okay, so democracy, that's good. But so which means all the nerdy topics like, I don't know, data protection, which is obviously now a big issue since we know about PRISM, things like that. Does it, well, I don't know if it was at the time, but did it at the time have an importance, and does it make any ripples now?
Well, when we were asked about those things, it was always in a sarcastic way, in cynical way, and we tried to avoid it because in Israel it doesn't have any like what that we think about as copyright issues. This has no relevance in Israel. Like there is no enforcement against people who download data or share information. What people are concerned about lately, but it's really lately, it's the biometric database. Like 1 week ago, an experiment of that database that will last 2 years began, and everybody in Israel, if they want, they can be part of that database, and in 2 years everybody will have to. It will be mandatory to be in the biometric database. And now we are working on publishing our standpoint on that biometric database, which we are against, of course. And then we will get coverage about that issue. But when it comes to copyrights in Israel, it's just, the media or the people, they just don't care about it. And for a large amount, rightfully, because, there is no enforcement.
Okay, and how about the whole scandal of, you mentioned like biometry, but that's like local in Israel. Does the whole PRISM thing and NSA spying echoes somewhere in Israel?
Well, yeah, it's more complicated than that. First, in Israel, like locally, it doesn't have any impact. Yeah, there is a lot of coverage about it, but locally it doesn't have any impact. And a lot of our supporters and members are people from the high-tech community in Israel, which is very, very developed. And many of those people did serve in the intelligence unit in the army, which that's what they do. So going against that strongly would be like shooting in our own leg. So this might not be a smart move for us.
Okay, too many people that were in the army themselves to criticize this.
Yes, like this unit in the Israeli army, it's called 8200. This is the biggest unit in the army. Like almost half of the soldiers, that's what they do. And there is a large consent in Israel that this is vital. Like people will not go against it. It's not, the situation in Israel is very different than in Europe or in the United States. Like in Israel, people don't think that the government would spy against them specifically, and they do think that the government should have the ability, the legal ability to spy if they need to. So, and that's also something that members of the Pirate Party share. It's a point of view that we cannot go against.
Right. So then we can switch topic. Does other topic do they have any importance for you? Because in Germany, the German Pirate Party at some point in time moved from the classic pirate topics like copyright, like surveillance, and data protection, and wrote down for itself a complete program going from education to research to poverty, workforce, and stuff, so on and so on. Is that something you do, or do you have focused your program on just a few key points?
Well, we did publish our manifest, and in similar vein maybe to the German way, we would define ourselves as social liberal party with libertarian touch. So when it comes to education, healthcare, and some other specific issues, we do believe that there should be a governmental intervention and it should be free. And other than that, we are pretty much libertarian. We don't think that the government should be part of anything, and this is published in our manifest.
If I can just add, Ohad, I think one of our main topics is citizen participation. That was the theme of liquid feedback, and a lot of just the idea that we're trying to get across that ideology isn't as important as getting people to participate in politics in a new, more democratic way.
Agree.
All right. You mentioned Gregory further upwards in the evening. How are you connected or involved in PPI?
Well, we are a member of the PPI since the last General Assembly in Kazan, and I think that also Kit was elected to some official thing in the PPI. I'm not sure what was that thing.
I heard assistant accountant, but I'm still waiting on some sort of verification of that.
Do you have further connection to other pirate parties?
Well, actually, since I'm here in the United States, I did try to write to pirate parties that I found online here and set some meetings, but nobody replied. And so that's about it.
Sorry, Ohad. I can speak for Japan, though, right now, and I've just contacted the Pirate Party in Japan, which appears to exist, but yet we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, and other than that, I think that maybe Kit met some members in Germany, and we did host Gero and Marina and other in Israel.
All right. Then I'll just move to some other questions. What do you pursue actually as a goal? I mean, I got it that your main focus was participation, basically democracy. Would you want to formulate what do you actually want to achieve for your society, for Israel?
Well, in general, I think that people that would observe it from the outside, external observation, would define us as maybe a left-wing party, which we are not exactly, if you consider the internal definition inside Israel. Our most important issue is participation and freedom in general. Like that's the main issue that we always advocate. That we do have active working legal department that is giving free legal service to people that are caught by the police on things that we believe that should not be illegal, like cannabis use, or even if it would be like a copyright violation, though we never got any and nobody applied to our legal department for that kind of issue yet. And yeah, that's what we want for Israel, to be much more liberal than it is right now. For example, right now gay marriage in Israel are not legal. Like, people have to marry outside. Not only that, gay marriage, people in Israel cannot marry anybody that is not from their own religion. So Jews can marry only Jews, and Christians or Muslims can marry only people from their own religion. And this is something that we really want to change, and also to change the entire concept of marriage in Israel.
And if I just follow up and to change the question a little bit, which was, what do we see the Pirate Party as contributing for Israel? Pirate Party as well, we're very global-minded and really believe in this sort of multicultural and multi-individual movement that enables empowerment of individuals to do what's best at a global scale.
Okay, thanks. That's definitely something we also have as the international view, and point that it's not only this country, but it's all the neighbors and many more.
Yeah, just a second. I would like to add also that if we are already talking about this issue, and that's something that you could totally assist us in, and we always said it when we talked with pirates from abroad, that we would really like to have a direct channel with pirates from Arab countries. Like, we heard about pirates in Algeria and in Tunisia and in Morocco, and we tried to contact them, but we never got any reply. And that's something that we would really like to do. We think that it would also be very helpful for us in electoral sense in Israel. And another issue that we want to promote is like the relations between Israel and the European Union. Like, we think that a real discussion of Israel as a member of the EU should be initiated somewhere at some point in time.
That's funny, because that would have been my next question. Like, you as pirates in Israel trying to build bridges, I think, yeah, we can try and work things out with international contacts. And you mentioned you tried and didn't work out. Have you gotten anyone from the area, like maybe Turkey or something?
No, actually, we never tried to contact with pirates from Turkey, which is actually pity, and it's something that we should do. We should consider, and we should do it. But Turkey is not as it, like, except of the niceness of discussion with them, it wouldn't be something that would be a breakthrough. Discussion with pirates in countries that are like that there is no like normal relations between those countries and Israel would be much more helpful. Like, Turkey is in that sense is a normal country, like, if we would have some relations with pirates in Morocco or in Tunisia, this would be much more helpful.
We need a conspiracy of a controversy of some sort, as opposed to having just a relations with the Turkish Pirate Party, which is great. We could also use a relation that everyone would look at in turn and say, wow, this is completely extraordinary that the Israeli Pirate Party and the, Lebanese Pirate Party, if one such exists, would have some sort of contact.
And how about Palestinians? Is there a pirate party there? Do you have contacts with them?
Actually, we did try to encourage some Palestinians to register a pirate party in several times, but it never really worked out. I think if Ronnie is here, I think that once he was presented in a Tel Aviv restaurant that belongs to a member of the party, that we met Palestinian people, and we tried to encourage them to register such a party, but this and other attempts have never yielded anything.
I'm sure, yeah, that's a pity. I'm sure we can generate some contacts from this evening. I see in the chat some people already taking up the flag. So we might see something coming out of this yet. If you look a bit into the future, where do you see yourself going? Like pirates in Israel. Do you think you can like really make a breakthrough, or what do you see happening to you and the movement in 5 years' time, let's say?
Well, when we registered at the party, a month later, the government declared early elections, which caught us very unprepared. Like we were preparing for elections that should have taken place in October 13, which is in 3 months, and instead they were 1 year earlier. And now, after the elections, the coalition in Israel tries to change the electoral rule and to raise the threshold from 2% to 4%, which they are very likely to succeed. And there will be many other obstacles that we didn't have before, and now we will have. So in that sense, it will be harder for us, but we are very committed to the course of action that we took, and we will participate in every national election at least. If we succeed to prepare also for the local elections, and we will promote those ideas in Israel, and we really believe that sooner or later we will get a massive support, because that's where things are going to.
Keith, a word on that?
Well, I think in 5 years as well, I think we're going to hopefully see some more collaboration. I think a lot of other political parties were very interested in what we were talking about, and a lot of these political parties aren't just a name. These names dissolve, and I think we might see a lot of people fly away from some of the other political parties and join us.
Yeah, that's also a possibility if the threshold will rise. There is a very high probability that other parties will be interested to collaborate with us, or and we by ourselves have also interest to help other parties to use, for example, platforms like Liquid Feedbacks and allow higher participation within the parties, because right now in any other party except us, there is no participation. Like, people within the party are not able to influence except electing their candidates, and even that is also only existing in 2 parties that now want to cancel this process.
Talking about internal party functioning, we mentioned earlier on that you took some bits and pieces of the program we have in Germany. Can you tell us what did you took? I mean, and did you borrow from any other parties? Like, so what did you get?
Well, in order to register, we had to submit like a legal document. It's a status of the party, and we actually submitted our former, almost the same exactly document status that we had, which was also a copy from other political parties in Israel. We just copied one piece from this party and one piece from that party, just in order to be legally and officially registered without any disruptions. But we don't really follow our status. We follow the status that we voted on in the liquid feedback, which is much more pirate.
Okay, that's for the status, but I was talking about the political program. So because I heard you borrowed from us, so can you tell us which contents, which articles from our program were interesting for you?
One thing is we made T-shirts that we made our own unique T-shirts, but we borrowed some of these campaigning platforms, and these were also based on different recommendations we received. And again, with the liquid feedback program, that was definitely very influential in our campaign, and that was very much based on the German model. And as I said, we had a great deal of technical assistance from the German team to help us do that.
That was my mistake. I meant electoral election, like political opinions, things you translated into Hebrew, if I get it correctly.
Well, I think that some parts of our statue were not exactly translated, but were inspired by documents from other pirate parties in the world, and the German model is very different. Like Germany is a federation, and there are many disagreements between like the north and the south, and different states and within states. Israel is very, very different than that. You know, like in the entire Israel is one political unit, and also there are so many parties inside Israel, and political participation is going down and down. Like I think that the percentage of people who are really member of political parties in Israel is really, really low. It's getting lower and lower, and in general people don't care. So it is not looking at it from like the German perspective, it would be very misleading. Like it's just different system.
You mentioned borrowing from people and getting advice from us and borrowing programs, tools, and whatever. You mentioned also networking, like you would like to connect to people from the Arab world, so pirates from the Arab world. Is there anything you borrowed with you tonight, like you also would like help with? I mean, how can we help you more?
Yeah, I think that if we would establish some forum that would meet on regular basis and would involve also pirates from countries like in the Arab world, this would be really great, and maybe to get us more involved in different aspects of the pirates in the world. There are a few people in our party that expressed their interest to take part in such such activities. So we could totally invite them for the next discussion.
I think that's going to be a job for Krista and Ronnie and Squad Naust. Find those people and make and connect all of you. That's something they probably look forward to. I'm gonna pull some questions from some people that posted them into the chat channel. Somebody wanted to hear more from what you had and social movements back in 2011. What was that about? Because we all heard about the Arab Spring, but you mentioned some social justice protests. What was that about? Can you tell us a bit more about this?
So yes, in the summer of 2011, in August, it started, I believe, in the end of July. There was a massive social justice protest in which thousands of tents camped out. It was before Occupy Wall Street, and in Occupy Wall Street was very similar, but not nearly the percent of participation that we found in Israel. There was a 1 million man march, which had probably closer to 500,000, but over the course of 2 months, people were camped out in downtowns, the streets, campaigning against the corruption of government, against the inequality, the growing inequality, and just against the individual rights that were being suppressed by major corporations and by government officials who didn't have their interests in mind.
Yes, it was like 500,000 probably, and the entire society in Israel it's 7 million. So it's a very high percent of the people from the population. And also there was a follow-up last year in 2012, and many members of the party, including myself, were arrested for more than 24 hours. And this year, the uprising, the protests were not that significant anymore. Like it's pretty much died.
And what were the? Why did you get arrested? Let's say.
Because we participated and led the demonstrations last year. And more than 100 people were arrested, from them about 20 members of the party.
Has the demonstration had the demonstration be pronounced illegal, or is it just like, I don't know, self-made justice, or what was the point?
Well, it was a spontaneous demonstration that took place one day after a police officer violently arrested a key figure in the movement from 2011. So in 2012 she was arrested, and a day later there was a spontaneous demonstration, and like think about 200,000 people came, and we blocked few roads in Tel Aviv. So officially it was not legal demonstration, and that was the excuse of the police. Yeah, that was the story of last year. And this year we are actually now talking with the center of the demonstration and the movement was and is in Tel Aviv. And now we are talking with our members from Tel Aviv on the opportunity to run for the elections, to the local elections in Tel Aviv, but it's not yet decided.
So the protest atmosphere in Israel is very active and lively. And someone wrote there, is it dangerous to protest in Israel? And it dangerous as it is in anywhere where the police can throw tear gas and, you know, things go wrong, of course. And but in general, no. And people are very into going out into the streets and demanding their rights. It seems like there's a strike over just about everything, from the universities to the banks to the airports and whatever. And did the social protests influence our platform as pirates? Definitely. The elections that just happened were very influenced by the social justice protests. The party that made the biggest gains, a party that never existed before, was largely seen as being a vote against the ruling Likud party.
So which parties did benefit in the election from these protests?
Well, ironically, the party that benefited the most was the party that it's called There Is a Future. It's a new party that it was the first time that they participated in the elections. It's the same party that took a third of our votes, that complained that the people that voted for us wanted to vote for them. And this party is largely speaking a dictatorship party. Like there is one person who was a celebrity in Israel, and he started that party, and it's all about this person, and he's very right wing, from the economical point of view, and he's the Minister of Finance now. So it's very ironic that as a result of the social protest, the right wing, the capitalist free market won it all, you know.
All right. Do you have any? Well, put it the other way. Do you have questions to us, like to the German pirates?
Yes, like what would you advise us to do in order to maximize our potential?
In terms of campaigning, in terms of being a group, or what?
Yeah, so when it comes to for example, the finance, so in Israel we are not allowed to get donations from outside of the country, or from non-individuals, and also from individuals we are allowed to get up to 150 euros per year from a family, and this limits our ability really to work. So how did you get, how did you get resources?
Well, we have regular payments, but I think our limits are higher for us. I'm a bit surprised about the 150 euros a year per family. How do the other bigger parties finance themselves?
Well, if you are elected and you are in the parliament, so then you get the resources of the state. So every parliament member every party gets about €1 million for every parliament member that it has per year, and then it gets also free access to resources for campaigning and communicating with the electorate and so on. So if you are already elected, so you are actually not limited. The system supports you. But if you are not already elected, so those financial rules are really limiting you.
Yeah, that's a bit different in Germany, because in Germany you do not need to actually gain a seat in parliament. You already get federal state or state financing when you reach a certain amount of votes. I think the threshold is about 2% or so of votes, and then you get compensated for your campaigning already. So it was for us a bit easier to get funding.
Yeah, this also exists in Israel. If you get 1%, if the party gains 1% of the vote, so it gets 200,000 euros about. And we did get it in 2006, but that doesn't. You cannot use it to for the ongoing party activity, only for the compensation for the elections that you took part in.
Daniel, maybe you'd like to give some input on that topic. Daniel, still with us?
So talking about that, a good idea would be to have, for example, maybe conference like of pirates in Germany and in Israel, maybe to hold it on annual basis, like every year, maybe once in Israel, once in Germany. It can be like short conference, like one day, with participants from both parties, and that could also get a very supportive media coverage, I believe.
I'm basically through the official questions, so I'd like to invite everyone to just join in and react to whatever's been just said, or if somebody has a question to what was said earlier on, just grab your microphone and speak. And yeah, free for all, and feel free to give back some input to Ohad and Keith, who just asked us for a little bit. Yeah, a few IDs.
Is it allowed to donate in kind? So, for instance, if some of us would come over and pay for advertisement, for instance, would that be allowed, or would that be seen as illegal party financing?
No, that would not be allowed. What it could be allowed is if the German pirate would, the German Pirate Party would have a conference, and we would take part in that conference. So that participation, like just to be there, it would not be illegal, but we could not get financial support in any way. Even if somebody would advertise an ad that supports our party, and we would not know about this intention, we would still have to. It would be considered illegal donation.
So your main problem or your main issue is now to get over 1% in the next national elections, and then you get compensation. To put it clear.
Yeah, as it is right now, but they are going to change the electoral rule. That's how it seems. So even this will not be a possibility in the next elections.
Oh, that's nice. They are going to change it. How? They introduce a higher threshold, or?
Yes, instead, right now the threshold is 2%, and to get the financial support which is 200,000 euro, you have to get 1%, but they are going to change it that it will be 4% for both, like for the threshold and for the financial support.
Keith, you wanted to add something?
We see a movement among ruling government parties that they want to flush out smaller parties. So right now it seems there needs to be a major political movement by these small parties to try and stop government from doing this. I think one of our questions for the German Pirate Party especially would be on fundraising techniques that we can use to try and gain enough funding to run in local elections.
I think you first have to ask us to tell us what sort of funding is allowed. I mean, as I gathered it, it sounds like you have very limited options to get funding.
Our only options are a grassroots movement to try and collect donations from individual Israelis who might sign up for a newsletter, who might be willing to contribute money in some way or form. We tried to use T-shirts in the past, as I said. We can do events. We can do numerous things to try and get money. But yes, from a population that is going to be very difficult to draw money from.
So a big proportion of our electorate are the soldiers. Like everybody in Israel almost goes to the army, and those are people from 18 to 22 years old, and they don't get any income. So before the elections, we opened like the membership for everyone for free. And we didn't change it since then, because if we want people, we cannot, like, if we will ask people to pay for membership, we will just have no members in the party, you know.
Would it be an option to introduce a very modest membership fee?
Or to
Yeah,
have
we
special keys? Sorry.
Yeah, we did think about it, like to have like 10 euros, like in Israeli currency, as a membership fee, and that would give the person the right to participate in liquid feedback that would bind the party decision. So that's something that we really want to do, but so far we didn't have any success in doing it, because even when it's free, like, people don't show much enthusiasm to participate in liquid feedback so far. So we still are working on it and think about a formula how to make it more appealing for people to really take part, because that's what people want, and we just didn't so far succeed to get into doing it. So we know that in Germany, in some places like in Berlin, the experience with liquid feedback is quite good, and that's something that we would like to maybe hear from you, how you attracted people to take part in it, even though it's not binding there. Like in our party it is binding, and still people don't really show enthusiasm.
I don't know if we have anyone from Berlin here tonight.
Yeah, it should also be said that this is mainly in Berlin the case. The participation rate nationwide is not so encouraging, to put it nicely.
So how did you run your campaign in Westphalia, for example? Like, what were the main points?
Yeah, we have Mumble, we have the congresses.
You mean the main
Some,
topics
some,
we covered? Sorry, Chelsea.
some use liquid feedback, but not the most. Yeah, it's like, don't know, 200 people.
Ohad, you meant the topics we covered?
Yes, like what were the main topics that attracted voters?
Yeah, it would be nice to have our member of parliament, Net Nerd, answering that. But the main topic. Oh, yeah, there he is. But main topics were, I think, transparency of political processes, freedom, of course, yeah, and participation in political process. But I think the situation was maybe a bit different because we were a new party. We got quite a lot of media attention, and yeah, the outside conditions were more or less very favorable for us.
I think most of the voters we got were from the non-voters before, which were not happy with the politics and the parties which were already in place. And so we had a sort of hype here, also with the media coverage. But most of the people, I don't know if they really were clear about what the pirates are, in fact. And so this corrected in the last months. I think a very strong impact, especially in Berlin, was the focus on social themes like what do you call it, the basic income for everyone, which was very popular there, and some other topics of especially of the alternative culture in Berlin, which attracted a lot of voters there. And the main success we had at the Berlin votes already helped us in the other countries to get over the quota.
So maybe we can hold, like the Westphalia Peace 2, 2.0, and maybe present very revolutionary approach to how things can be, and that would maybe put the pirates in general in better place in the public mind as a party that is also willing to deal with issues that are in the high sphere of politics.
Which is very important, or which was very important for many of the voters, were the chance to directly participate in the politic work in the party. There are no limits there. You can immediately start acting inside the party, which was very attractive to many people. And another key point was the fight against lobbyism. To show where, let's say companies or organizations take part in the politics and influence politics, to show that, to find out where this happens and to fight against this. I think this is a really important point for many of the voters.
Somebody here is trying to push me to tell you about another tool we're using. I don't know if you heard about Lime Survey. This is something we use to, well, as the name survey tool. So we use it. Sorry?
I have actually used Lime Survey quite a lot. I actually work with some of the developers in it when I was living in Chemnitz, and I'm quite big into online survey technology. Yeah, Lime Survey is great as a freeware. Some of the commercial software is still better, like Qualtrics, but we're entirely open to that. But that's a way of collecting data. As far as I've used it, it's we've been able to develop our own online tools. If you look at the website we sent and stuff,
we use it for to ask every member a set of questions. So it's a bit less of a barrier. It's a bit different thing compared to liquid feedback, where you start a dialogue about an ID, and if you do a survey, you prepare your questions, and at the end you have some output. So you also have the possibility of asking everyone, basically. So you don't want to overdo it, obviously, otherwise you're going to lose the audience. But for important decisions, if you feel like liquid feedback doesn't have the pull, if you want, like, because maybe some people don't find it easy enough, or lose the interest because you have to take a look every day if there's something new or whatever, you can use Lime Survey. You prepare your set of questions, and then you send one mail with the token that reaches everyone, and you have maybe a stronger base for your decision, because more people actually went and filled the survey. I mean, at least that's the experience we have here.
So we actually ran in Maria Kivela, graduate student, Hebrew University, ran it officially. I helped her design the survey and program it, and we did it in Qualtrics, but it's the same idea as Lime Survey. And we did it to learn more about who was supporting the party, what were the policies that they wanted to promote, and we looked at pirates around the world, though, in that sense. Obviously it's a fine tool. It still requires presentation. Again, it's just a way of collecting information. I think we've used a lot of online tools. You look at the website that we sent and you translate it, you can start to see some of the different tools in there that we've developed. And so, yeah, again, all of these things are great. And actually, Lime Survey could be a great way as a fundraising technique, about just asking people, would you be willing to support the Pirate Party in some way, and running for different elections.
Did you try Pledge Bank, or do you know Pledge Bank?
I'm sorry, Flashback?
Pledge Bank.
Pledge Bank, hold on, I'll get it for you. Pledge, like I pledge to do something, and bank, like a bank.
It's a fundraising tool, and you can pledge to donate a certain amount if say X other people do the same. It creates a bit of a peer pressure, or more. No, it's the wrong word. It creates maybe a bit more trust, or more willingness to give, if you know that a certain number of people also do the same. So that is a fundraising tool that we used, I think, in several occasions.
I've just posted the link in the chat.
Yeah, I'm looking at the link right now. I'm actually working for an organization, Global Giving, at the moment, and we do the same thing for NGOs and NPOs, but obviously a political organization falls outside the realm. But yeah, these are great. This actually looks very good. And it would be if we can get matching donors to say that they will match every dollar or every shekel that someone puts in.
Yeah, that's the idea basically. Like you start with a few people that say, well, we'll put 500 in, and if 50 people put a tenner in, for example, that's the usual spin.
But I have to ask Ohad then, our limitation on the €150 amount basically limits our ability to create big matchers.
It's something that we have to check, but yeah, we cannot get also anything from sources that are not identified as individuals who are citizens that are eligible to vote.
Oh, it's still an individual funding. I mean, it's still individuals pledging. The platform doesn't collect the money or anything. It's still it's really just centralizes the pledge, but it's very, very low key. It's very basic. People still have to send you the money through whatever mean is usual. So you still get money from individuals. Is just a way of making it more into a social experience. So you can, in the text of the pledge, you can limit it to whatever is legal, basically. And the big backers, the one that start the pledge, could also say, well, I'll spend 150 if, I don't know, 1,000 or like if you gather, like, I don't know, maybe 10 people who say, well, we'll all spend 150 if 1,500 people spend 10 or whatever. You know, you could also put it all in at the same level. You could say, I'll spend 150 if 50 people spend the same. It doesn't matter. That's all free. It's all in your hands. It's your communication. It's whatever you think is gonna get the more pull.
Okay, that sounds very, very interesting. Do you have something written on it, even if it's in German?
We have the web link here.
Yep. Here is it again. If you see the chat link?
Yeah, okay, I see.
My only concern would be, how do we confirm these are Israeli people that are pledging this money? How that we wouldn't experience a backlash then if they discovered that funds had come from somewhere else?
You would see it when they pay, because as I said, that they pay you directly, so you'd see it from the bank accounts, I guess.
Actually, one of our supporters is now starting a new social bank in Israel, which is an NGO, and we can totally consult them about it.
One question I forgot to ask tonight. How many are you actually in the party?
So, before the elections, we officially registered members, but now, for many reasons of privacy, we don't do that, and we also don't ask money. And we don't know. We don't keep track of how many members, like how many people would consider themselves as members.
Okay, that's nice.
But about?
So
How many have run?
Before the elections, we got a bit more than 1,000 people that registered. And then we stopped to do that.
Well, that's quite a lot for a small country. But I do have another question. It's about the law, the heightening of the threshold for national or state party financing. Do you know when it is due? When it will be voted up in the parliament?
Well, now there are two motions, and one is worse than the other. It's not only about the threshold, they want to change the entire electoral rule. So one of the suggestions would be that it would be a presidential system, that this is unlikely to be accepted. And the other one is that there would be it would be also local elections, that there would be constituencies and not only one geographical political unit. And they are discussing about it now in the coalition. Eventually, all the estimates are that only the threshold will change, and it will be due for the next elections. In Israel, there is no constitution, so if the coalition wants to change the electoral rule, they don't have to wait for the next elections. They can do it, basically from now to now. So it will be already in effect in the next elections.
Wow.
More questions, anyone?
I have asked some question about relation with other parties, like leftist parties, secular ones, like former Meretz, or people like Shulamit Aloni, or perhaps people who do the Israeli-Palestine Confederation, IPC, I think, like Uriel Zohar, or other people like that. Good relation, bad, no relation.
What is the question? If we collaborate with them?
Yes, or which kind? Do you ignore them? Do you know them?
Yeah, we have strong, ties with Meretz, for example. But that's mostly it. Some former leaders of Meretz, like Shulamit Aloni or Yossi Sorid, we have relations with them on personal level, but as parties, sorry,
fight and concurrency.
Well, no, we did have some activities together, but on the political level, we never were able to cooperate.
Which reminds me, you mentioned the fact that they very probably are gonna up the threshold for the elections, for the next ones, next big ones. Do you see it coming that it would bring some of the smaller parties together? Are there already talks about, grouping or even merging?
Yes, no doubt. That will be the most immediate result. The question is how it will influence us.
And one of the questions we have is getting the other pirates to acquiesce this merger with other parties, of this acceptance of members who coming from other parties. One of the issues we had in the last election was there was other fringe parties that wanted to collaborate with us, but members in our party weren't always willing to accept them.
Did you say French parties?
Fringe parties.
Fringe. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true. We did get a request to cooperate with some religious party that advocates free drugs use, and we did vote on it 3 times actually in liquid feedback, and each time the majority decided not to accept it.
You have religious parties that advocate free drugs?
Yes.
Called Nachman Neumann.
Yeah, it's really funny, but yes.
What's the question about that? There is no problem in Torah to smoke weed, for example.
Sorry?
I get. There is no problem to smoke weed, for example. It's not forbidden by the Torah.
On
No,
the
it's
Shabbat.
Yeah, according to the Bible, it is not forbidden. It is true.
Yeah.
On the Shabbat, perhaps.
Yeah, on Shabbat it's a problem because it's forbidden to smoke, but yeah.
And on Passover, it's a problem.
What we doing after Shabbat?
In Passover, it's problem only for Ashkenazis.
We're getting
on
technical.
Pesach, yeah. Because it's kidneyot, yeah.
Right.
We're getting very technical now. So how big is this landscape of fringe parties, of small parties? I mean, could they actually move something if they all got together, or at least 3 to 10 got together and make one party? Could this have an impact?
It is very unlikely. Like altogether, the small parties that did not pass the threshold are making a very major power. Like if they would run as one party and everybody that voted for one of them would vote for this one party, this would be a very big party in the Knesset, in the parliament. But there is no chance that those parties would collaborate with each other, and that they would, if they would collaborate, they would maintain the electorate that votes for them, because one of these parties is an extreme right-wing party, which is like basically fascist party. Another party is a communist party. Like there is no way that they would collaborate.
And you don't, sorry, Keith?
I was going to say, but there are a lot of other parties that definitely would. It was very unfortunate in the past election that we saw a lot of parties representing similar platforms and just not able to lower their egos enough to work together to accept certain places in the list. A lot of the collaboration talk took place after we'd already did vote on the placements in the party list. But, further collaboration sometimes takes place at the last minute. And we need to try and enable ourselves to take in some of these other small parties that represent often sometimes specialized issues, but a lot of times they represent the resentment with the ruling parties.
Yes, actually, there is one party in Israel, which is Meretz, that in many ways they are the maybe closest party to us, and they were elected. They have 5 seats in the parliament, and they define themselves as a social democrat party, and they compete with the Labour Party, and it could be like the maybe best thing for us would be to sit with them in some international framework and work on collaboration, because their electorate are not exactly social democrat people. They are more like social liberal people that would vote for us if they would believe that we could pass the threshold. And they vote for a party that they don't the first priority would be to vote for us, but just because of the threshold they vote for them because they want to secure their vote. And now if the threshold will rise, there is very good chance that they will not pass the threshold, so they will have to consider uniting either with the Labour Party, which will make them the maybe smaller partner, or maybe with us, that will make them the bigger partner in it. And in order to give them incentives to do that, from one hand, and from the other hand to set some way that they would adopt the liquid feedback and other ideas that are more identified with the pirates and that they do not officially advocate. This could be done in some international framework, which maybe you could help in organizing.
Talking about small parties, I heard about a second pirate party in Israel. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, there is no really other pirate party in Israel. There was a Facebook page that might still exist, and the people in that page consider themselves as the pirate party, but they were never registered, and all their energy was focused on harming us. And in many occasions they gave interviews to different medias channels, and they say that the pirate party will not participate in the elections. That made like the people in Israel were very confused about the pirate party, because when they heard about it, sometimes they heard us, and sometimes they heard like very few people. There are 5 people that their main thing is to harm us, to harm the pirate party. And we did try to find out who those people are. Like, we never really met them, and they were never ready to come and meet us. And we found out that they are member of other political parties, from the Likud and Labour Party and other parties, and they tried to prevent us from registering. Like, they issued some complaint about us and stuff like that. They never were successful in the legal way, but when it came to the public awareness, they were successful, because it's much easier to harm than to assist. And when we did discuss with the PPI and with other activists, mostly in Germany, we never really got any support. Only 2 weeks before the elections, there was like some post in the PPI website about it, that they support us and stuff like that. But whenever like journalists from Israel wanted to investigate this thing further, and they contacted pirates from abroad, they never really got a clear statement that there is one party in Israel that is the pirate party, which is the situation.
I'm not sure the situation is well known abroad, which would probably account for lack of answers. Okay, but basically it's still, you could say it's sorted out because, well, for lack of fighters.
Yeah, basically we didn't hear from those people since the elections, but it's very probable that if there would be another elections, and they would try to harm us again, and we are not sure really what motivates them. You know, like they don't do anything constructive. Like we are not sure what it is. You know.
Talking about this reminds me, I didn't ask about your implantation. Like, are you do you have people nationwide, or are you just focused on a few big cities?
Well, it is very sporadic. You know, like the Israel is very small country, so we have people nationwide, but the nation is pretty small. We are not focused on a specific city, even though in Jerusalem we have, you know, so far much more members than other cities, like official people that were registered before the elections.
And how do these people get together? Do you meet in some cafe, or do you do this online, like here?
During the election, during the election, we had probably the largest Pirate Party headquarters of anywhere in the world. This is an amazing, and it's still there for our use. I was living in the headquarters for the past 7 months. And we had our own conference room. We invited journalists inside. We had meetings on a daily basis. We had people sitting with their laptops in our conference room nonstop, working on the campaign. Since the campaign, we haven't been using too much of a venue, and I think we've used mainly online tools. Noam's been keeping the Facebook going pretty strong.
The HQ sounds like a fun place. How many people?
The Beerman. It's we also
Keep going, Ohad.
have. Do you hear me?
Yep, keep going.
So we also have a bar in Jerusalem that we use for, you know, more like social meetings, not for planning anything, but just for members to meet.
The HQ during the campaign sounded like a fun place to be. So tell us a bit more about it, maybe. How many people was there at the time? How long did it get used and stuff like that? Tell us a bit more about the campaign.
So Ohad and I were living in the campaign headquarters during the period before elections, and I kept living there until a couple weeks ago when I came here to Japan. I found it from a very nice Swiss immigrant man who had this gigantic office building. It was completely down with the pirate platform and wanted to allow us to use his building. It was located in the very downtown, and we had about 10 different offices at our disposal and a great rooftop, beautiful conference room with a gigantic screen TV and full internet capabilities. So we definitely fell into a very well-timed opportunity to have a great headquarters, and it was a great place to be able to invite different people in to come speak with us. We had various NGO groups, journalists, as I said, you know, and just our activists to come and meet and coordinate our campaign abilities. After the election, there weren't too many people coming by. There weren't too many activities that we had to organize efficiently at that moment where we needed to bring people together.
Is it a resource you can use again when the time comes?
Yeah, it appears. Obviously, I can always in the future because I was living there. But definitely in the future, we definitely hope in the next. It's the next national elections are a while away, but that we can use that location again.
And is it allowed to get from a private or people or company such advantage? Because here we cannot do that. We have to pay for everything, or you can do it illegally, but it's not with the transparency.
Well, the person that had this place, it's actually a public property that was given for him to manage for a few years, and it's in a military base in the center of Jerusalem. And we made a contract with him that we pay very, very small amount of money, but it was a legal contract that basically the money was paid personally by Kit and by myself, that we like rented a room there, but we used the entire building for our headquarters.
Yes, it's okay.
I notice a pattern, like but good relation, good connections, like the ones you seem to have in the media, and now this help. I think it's quite cool that you have such resources. It definitely helps.
Yeah, that's we are very fortunate that we are very, very well networked in Israel.
I would like to call for a last round, like if anybody has questions, like from Piratim or from the Germans, or I know we have some people from other places like France. Has something.
I have nothing to ask. Well, I'm Anouk. I'm a French pirate. Actually, I'm Dutch, but that's another matter. About when the Piratim can organize a conference, then they can ask an entrance fee. When they ask an entrance fee of, I don't know, 200 euros, then that could be a legal form of funding. Not true?
Ohad, can we collect 200 euros for people to come to a conference?
Yes, because for...
I think that I lost you for a minute or so I don't know if you heard me, and I didn't hear you.
His question was whether we can have a conference in which we charge a large fee of approximately 200 euros for participants.
No, we cannot charge more than the amount that we are allowed to charge, and that's for everything, for membership in the party, for buying shirt, for coming to conference, and it's for a family. Like, so if somebody pays, so then somebody from his family cannot also pay.
Okay, thanks.
But we could participate in a conference without paying if there would be such a conference. Like, we can hold a conference, for example, in the headquarters. This would be free to use the place, and then if we would have guests from abroad, this would be maybe appealing for the media, so.
Precisely, that is what I was thinking about.
Yes, we actually thought about maybe offering to host the the General Assembly of the PPI, but in the previous one that took place, I think in March, it was we afforded because it still requires a lot, and I think that the next one will be in Turkey.
So, if there are no further questions which would need recording, I would like to call it a day and at least end the recording. You are, of course, free to continue with your exchange.
No.
Sorry?
Yeah, I was about to I would like to put some closing words in the recording, if you don't mind.
Well, then go ahead. Thanks, by the way, to everyone.
Yeah, that would be my closing words, basically. We have been talking for nearly 2 hours, so I would like to close the official part of the evening. Big thanks to Kata and Ronnie for putting this idea into the world. Thanks to Keith and Ohad for coming tonight. I remind the audience, Keith is in Japan at the moment and Ohad is in New York. So this is all very international. Thanks also to the international guests. We have some people from France, as far as I gathered. Thank you, everyone. And I would like to have ask Ohad and Keith for some closing words for tonight.
All right, thank you very much. I think that Krista is not here and Ronnie can just hear and not talk. So I want to thank them very much for initiating it. And thank you all for participating. I hope that we will do it again. And there are some ideas. I think that if we would have a conference for like a physical one for the Germans and the Israelis, this could assist both of us. If you could help us to establish relations with pirates from countries that do not have normal relations with Israel, this could also be very beneficial. And so thank you, it was a pleasure to be here. Now, Kit.
Thank everyone for being here. It's really an honor to have so many people to listen. I hope we said some interesting things. I'll just post my email here in the chat so that if anyone wants to contact me, you can let us know. In this regards, not just the pirate activities in Israel, but the Pirate Party International in general. And we really look forward to hearing from you and collaborating in the future.
All right, thanks everyone, and good night.
All right, almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm stopping the recording now. Thanks again.